up so many possibilities. I think
this is an investment of time, but something that should pay off.
Three main benefits that they see. Kids are more attentive. Second is that homework time is more efficient. And third is that the kids are more resilient.
Hello and welcome to Proactive Parenting. I'm David Hurt, Coordinator of Counseling for the Blue Valley School District. This program is designed to help parents become more understanding of their child and more effective in their parenting role. The topic for today's program is cognitive skill development. Tiffany and Tom, welcome to the program. Appreciate you being here with me this morning. Tell me a little bit about cognitive skills. What are we really talking about when we say we're going to talk about cognitive skills?
One way I've found to describe it is to talk about AMPS, attention, memory, and cognitive processing speed. So those are the tools that a student would take into the classroom that enable him to process the information, the curriculum that the teachers are providing. We use cognitive skills in every area of our life, and there may be other examples, other areas like sports or music or theater that employ cognitive skills.
Tell me a little bit about how your program's approach is different than what a classroom teacher might be doing with kids in terms of their auditory learning, their visual learning.
certainly. Well, in the classroom over the last several years, we've seen that the teachers use learning styles to change sort of the way that they present the information that they give. They're giving curriculum information, facts, what happened in 1492, et cetera, and how they present it is based on visual, auditory, and hands-on learning styles. Our program takes that approach to the next level, and we take a student that may be strong in auditory but weak in visual, and we strengthen all of their skills through a set of activities that we do. So
it isn't that the schools aren't doing it, they just can't cover all of the bases at the same time with a kid. I mean, they may bounce around in different learning styles, Tom?
Right. Well, my wife is a teacher, and she presumes that kids come to school with a particular set of skills, with attention, memory, and processing skills, and then it's her job to deliver the curriculum according to those students' learning styles. So as Tiffany said, over the last 10 or 15 years, teachers have done a very good job at having a variety of presentation styles so that they're reaching every learner, auditory, visual, or hands-on.
And when you talk about processing speed, what are you really focusing on there? My ability to think quickly, or?
To make decisions quickly, to process information, to handle visual and auditory information, to be attentive to that information, to decide which information is important, which to concentrate on, and which to ignore. There are different types of attention. There's sustained attention, of how long you can stay on a particular task. There's selective attention, when there are several things going on at one time, which input are you going to choose, your auditory or your visual? And then there's divided attention, where you're doing two things at one time and you have to pay attention to two different input streams. We've discovered that many of those skills are trainable, that you can in fact improve your sustained attention and your divided attention.
You know, when you talk about AMPS, it almost sounds like you're talking about a program that focuses on helping a child that has the diagnosis of ADD or some of the other concerns that kids come to school with, or that parents latch on to. Well,
certainly a program like ours will help those students, but the great thing about cognitive skills is that no matter where you're at in your life or your learning capabilities, you can always grow that. And in fact, often our trainers will stand around and talk afterwards and joke about how our brains are growing, and you can kind of build those cognitive skills that you have. So certainly a student that is struggling with those skills will benefit greatly from the program, but even parents who believe that their kids have more potential to be unlocked, they may be doing well, but they think there's more there, would also benefit from a program like this.
So it's really something for the entire spectrum.
In fact, research says that your cognitive skills peak at about age 32 and start to decline gradually after that. So Tiffany's on her way up, but some of us may be declining. But there's some very interesting research studies indicating that you can maintain, you probably can't prevent the total loss, but you can maintain some of the degradation.
And Tom, before the break, you were talking about an activity to kind of demonstrate some of the skill development that you might help kids with. And I understand this is an attention
Right. We in our program, we have over 40 groups of exercises meant to train the brain to build cognitive skills. Each exercise has dozens of variations, so we've got literally hundreds of activities that we can help kids, students train their brain with. This particular activity looks like a game. I'll go through it with Tiffany, and then I'll explain what parts of the game are actually developing her cognitive skill.
Okay.
Tiffany, you ready?
And
yes.
Before you begin, we're going to put a picture of this card that you're showing Tiffany on the screen so that our audience can see what she's looking at as well.
Okay. And so what they'll see are a series of arrows of different color and pointed in different directions. So Tiffany, if you could sit up straight, please, both feet on the floor in a good attentive position.
Okay.
Thank you. And just to start out, read me the colors real quickly, as fast as you can across the top. Go.
Blue, green, blue, red, green,
Faster.
blue, red. Blue, green, blue, red, green, blue,
Good.
yellow, yellow.
Good. Okay. Let's go ahead and do an exercise. And I'll put the metronome on, and I'd like you to go, give me the direction of the arrows on every other beat.
Okay.
Ready, go. Left, up,
right, left, left, up, left, right.
Good, very good. That's probably a little bit too easy for you. Now, I could speed up the metronome, but let's make the game a little bit cognitively more challenging.
Okay.
So I'd like you to give me the color and the direction of the arrow alternating on every other beat. Ready, go.
Blue, up, blue, left, green, up, yellow, right.
Good. I'm going to make it harder still.
Okay.
I'd like you to do the same activity, but I'm going to give you a series of single-digit numbers, and when you get to the end of the row, I'd like you to give me the sum.
Okay.
Ready, go.
Blue, up, blue, left,
4,
green, up,
7.
yellow, right. 11.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got her up in an area now, and let me turn this off and explain what's happening cognitively.
Okay.
I started out with an activity that was too easy for her. It was we were just playing games, reading the colors and the directions. So I made it a little bit more complicated by adding the metronome, which places a load on her auditory channel, on her auditory processing. So now I'm forcing her to pay more attention with her visual processing skills, but she could still do that fine. So I made it harder by alternating the color and the direction, and she started to make a few mistakes, but not so much that she started to cry.
She was close to it, though.
She was close to it. So I knew she could take a little bit harder activity, so I added a mental activity, an executive processing skill. So this game now has auditory processing, visual processing, executive processing, and decision speed. So I've got 4 mental activities going on at the same time, and the brain can't cope with that. So what happens over time is that the brain pushes some of those skills into the subconscious, and usually in her case, since she's an auditory learner, it would be her auditory processing first. And so it can focus on the hardest skills, it pushes those other skills into the subconscious. And from what research shows us, the brain actually changes. It changes its connections and its wiring in a process called neuroplasticity, which means the brain's ability to change and to grow under different conditions. So if I were training Tiffany in a program, I'd have her come in to our clinic 3 days a week, and I'd run through activities, a variety of activities, each one running 4 or 5 minutes, operating in a zone where she was getting a little bit of mental fatigue, but not so hard that she got frustrated. Mm-hmm. And over time, she would gradually step herself up the difficulty level, and I can make this drill as hard as she can handle. And over time, then she develops that mental fluency, that developing her cognitive skills.
So you're taking a child and asking them to play what they perceive as a series of games.
Right.
But in actuality, you're helping them train their own brain to transfer that information or that skill over to the homework and the schoolwork that they have in the classroom.
Right. We're asking, just like going to the gym and working out, we want the kids to feel at the end of the session like they've done something significant. So for them to make that investment, we have to make it fun and enjoyable and upbeat and exciting. And that's fun for the kids. As it turns out, it's fun for us too.
This is an investment of time, but something that should pay off.
Absolutely.
In the long run for the parent and the child.
I think both will enjoy the time that they get together, as well as the long-term effects of building these skills, is that the student will go into their classroom and every classroom from there, and they're able to take in the information more quickly, and it opens up so many possibilities. I think that's what makes me the most excited.
Our parents report three different areas, three main benefits that they see. One is their kids are more attentive. Second is that homework time is more efficient. And third is that the kids are more resilient under stress. Mm-hmm. The more attentive part, I think, comes from strengthening a learning style that may not have been a primary before. Tiffany's an auditory learner. If I strengthen her visual learning skills, she's going to seem more attentive in visual type activities. We can make her more efficient on home activities by improving the amount of information that she receives during the school day. So kids still go to school for 7 hours, and the teacher still teaches the same amount of time, but now kids are learning during a greater percentage of that day when we've increased their overall learning preferences. And the resilience, and I think this is a very important point, kids who can hang in for an extra 5 or 10 or 15 minutes when the going gets tough, instead of getting frustrated right away and shutting down, I think that's a huge benefit to their classroom performance and even performance later on the job.
That's a big topic, but so interesting, so fascinating. I wish we had more time to talk about it and see some more examples of the types of things you do with kids. But I was sitting here thinking about, you're talking about the attention, the efficiency, and relating that to a kid that might have a reading problem and how that can really change things for that child, perhaps. So
yeah, absolutely.
I hope that you have learned at least one thing today that will enable you to help your child. Please join us again soon to learn more about proactive parenting.